Technology throughout history. Living in a high-tech age, it's easy to forget that technology didn't always mean iPods, DVD, and the internet. For thousands of years, it was the means by which people secured food and shelter, established social order, and shaped and sustained their cultures. Said by the University of Virginia's Professor W. Bernard Carlson. With that definition of technology in mind, it's safe to say that technology has shaped the way people thought and interacted throughout history in both a local and national sense. Agriculture. Around 3000 BC, Eastern archaic woodland cultures began implementing agriculture into their lives. Although agriculture was much more difficult than hunting at first, growing dependence on it allowed ancient societies to build more stable settlements that could support more people. The spread of dependence on crop farming and domesticated animals, known as the Neolithic Revolution, was a means for people to acquire food, which changed the behavioral pattern of archaic cultures and better helped them to sustain themselves. By 3000 BC, some groups of southwestern Indians had already begun to grow corn. The rise of agriculture allowed these people to form permanent settlements. Digital History 2014. Guns and horses. We have two primary sources here, both from the Himalayan text. First one, titled Sakamapi Cree, recalls the arrival of horses, guns, and smallpox to the northern plains, written by J.B. Tyrrell. The second one, titled Maheo, All-Father, Creator, warns the Cheyennes about life with horses, written by Alice Marriott and Carol K. Rachlin. I know what I know about these sources because I have read them, I have studied similar documents, and I've discussed the time period in class. Both documents are from Native perspectives. Only the first document is considered to show recorded events. The second is accounted as Indian mythology. The forms are different. One is a written record of war, and the other a traditional story. However, they both use narrative structure. Both documents are used to show how natives reacted to and used new technology to their advantage. The first document states that the Blackfoot Indians were alarmed by horses and thought that they were just oversized dogs. In battle, however, weapons from traders gave the Blackfoot an advantage over the Shoshone in war. Our wars have since been carried by ambuscade and surprise of small camps, in which we have greatly the advantage from guns, arrows, shods of iron, long knives, flat bayonets, and axes from the traders. Tyrrell, 1916, page 137. This document shows that the use of guns helped shape the native warfare tactics. The second document, the story of Maheo's warning, shows the possible dangers brought by adopting horses. Having horses as a new means of travel and hunting would cause the Cheyennes to run into neighboring tribes more often. Remember this. If you have horses, everything will be changed for you forever. You will have to move around a lot to find pasture for your horses. You will have fights with other tribes. You will need real soldiers. Marriott and Rachlin, 1975, page 135. Not only did tribal Native American interactions change, even by the mid-18th century, European and Native interactions changed as different technologies and lifestyles collided. For example, in David J. Weber's essay, New Spain and Its Borderlands, Spanish Bourbon officials brought forth new methods of winning over natives because natives had developed new ways to manage the Spanish previous tactics. Throughout the hemisphere, Indos-Barbados had studied the fighting techniques of Spaniards, learned to defend themselves against them, adopted Spanish horses and weapons, and reorganized themselves into new polities or societies. Weber, 2002, page 180. The adoption of or adaptation to technologies between neighboring societies changed the way they approached and interacted with each other. The cotton gin. During the wake of the Industrial Revolution in America, the cotton gin, developed by Eli Whitney, caused cotton production to skyrocket. The rise of King Cotton as the defining feature of Southern life revitalized slavery. The promise of cotton profits encouraged a spectacular rise in the direct importation of African slaves in the years before the transatlantic trade was made illegal in 1808. USHistory.org, 2014. As a result of the newfound profitability of cotton production, the South decided to sustain its largely cotton-centered culture, causing an even greater divide between Northern and Southern motives. This economic triumph, however, was accompanied by an immeasurable human tragedy. By 1820, all of the Northern states had outlawed slavery, but the rise of cotton made the enormous profits of the slave system irresistible to most white Southerners. USHistory.org, 2014. Transcontinental Railroad. Even before the Transcontinental Railroad was complete, it spurred Native and U.S. conflict in Northern-Southern division, which would build up toward the American Civil War. The railroad, pushed by Senator Stephen A. Douglas, inevitably entered Native territory. Natives were upset to see their homelands being invaded and altered, and they had every right to be. Any railroad that ran west from Chicago would pass through a region that Congress in 1830 had designated a permanent Indian reserve. Rourke, 2014, page 400. The disregard of previous agreements and conditions concerning the Native Reserve caused natives to delay railroad progress through raiding workers and sabotaging tracks. Another disregard of previous agreements came with the introduction of popular sovereignty in the Nebraska Territory. Free Soilers branded Douglas's plan a gross violation of sacred pledge An atrocious plot to transform free land into a dreary region of despotism inhabited by masters and slaves. Rourke 2014, page 401. The Transcontinental Railroad was a technological advancement that radically changed the social order of America. Technology in American history was a crucial means to which different peoples made money, solved problems, and interacted with each other. From agricultural advancements to railroads, people have used technological advancements to improve their lives and to change their surroundings.